Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Coming up, we talk about our first impressions of the release of the Iokath Expanse, which is the name of the map for 5.3, and the first boss from Gods from the Machine. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 190. Oi, 190, que wa tu pensa era Iokath Expanse? Sa, remember the Kant. With me as always is Seema. Oi, Seema.
You're totally so
Wasn't
multilingual,
wasn't that
Max.
pretty
Yeah.
good? I,
Yeah, it was very good.
I worked on it a little bit.
Maybe I'll start off by saying that I really did enjoy that show. I watched season 1 of The Expanse earlier. And yeah, I get the tie-in too, because we're going to talk about Iokath Expanse, which is, like you said, the name of the map. But yeah,
That's what gave me the idea to talk like that, to like a belter, because I liked how they named it Iokath Expanse.
and I'm looking forward to season 2 of that. But anyway, so yes, today was the download day for 5.2, and so our first chance to go and explore Iokath, which we both did. I started the story, but I didn't finish it because I realized I would have to rush through it to be done in time for MFN, and I didn't want to do that. I kind of like to get my head into it and like explore around. So I came out of the story and I went running around the planet a little bit. I was pleased to see, initial impressions that there's a lot of nodes. That always seems like a fun thing to me. And it was one of my first impressions of Yavin 4 too. So I had a little nostalgia moment there. And then I went back to the fleet to look at the vendors to see how the new sort is looking.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole vendor thing is still a little confusing. It's really nice though that they do that sort, and you don't have to see a bunch of extraneous stuff that doesn't apply to you, or you can see it all if you want to. That's a really nice feature. But I have like nameplates turned on, and when you walk in that room with all the vendors, it's just a sea of overlapping nameplates. But you kind of need them because you got to find the tier 1 or the tier 2 or the tier 3 or whatever. So, I mean, it's still a little bit confusing, I would say.
Yeah.
We were kind of expecting to be able to buy tier 3 gear directly from a vendor. However, after we, went back and forth about that a little bit in Discord, people reminded us that it's not meant to be right now. It's meant to be a little bit after 5.2. So there is that. And then we went to Iokath on MFN, and we were just going to go and see Tithe, I think, but we ended up killing him. We got pretty close on the first attempt, and then we killed him on the second attempt. So that was 16-man story mode Tithe, which was really fun. And we then went to Deborah's courtyard and killed Golden Fury there. And we still had time, so then we went and killed Dreadtooth. So it was really super productive MFN night tonight. So there is that. So how was your week, Max?
Pretty good. So I did a little bit of mostly just messed around here and there. Final wrap up before 5.2. And chat room, thank you for pointing out that I messed up the intro. I said 5.3. Yeah, 5.2. Did a little PvP GSF. Leveled up an alt. Ran one of my alts through Black Talon, as I do.
Go through Black Talon.
Mm-hmm. That's how I level. Alts. But I was also just trying to get ready for 5.2. I had a whole bunch of those operation packs that drop from bosses, and I just opened them all. People are probably watching here on the stream. I opened them all and got enough to get 18 tier 4 crates. So that's looking pretty good. I'm
going to do that too. That's why I'm running back to the fleet right now to get a boost.
You got 5 minutes before
I know.
light 5 is gone. So yeah, I got a boost.
I know.
One other thing I noticed before I forget, I had 2 missions to turn in because we killed Tithe and we killed Deborah's Courtyard. and I turned on the boost. I figured, oh, I'll wait till I turn on the boost to turn those in. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think, well, at least the mission turn in still said the lower amount. So maybe you don't get it. Maybe you don't get it
I think you have to have taken the boost before that moment when,
before it completes.
you know, yeah, because
Yeah,
I think that's like the loot moment.
got it. So that's what I've been doing, and of course we'll talk about what I was doing today as we get into 5.2 news. Oh, and I like the Expanse too, quite a bit. But let's talk about the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So first up in the news, 5.2 launched.
Yes, it did.
So there's that. I did. They did call the whole map, Iokath Expanse. That was what I saw. That was the thing I hadn't noticed before. So I put that in the notes too. But yeah, we'll talk about it in detail the rest of this show. Only our first impressions, and we won't go into really any spoilers on story. We'll just allude to a couple things because I didn't get very far through the story either. What else in the news dev tracker did we see, Seema?
So SWTOR has a new producer, and his name is Keith. And Keith will be familiar to people if they have noticed Eric Musco mentioning his boss Keith. So it's that Keith. And he now has a last name which we can get from his noticed Eric Musco mentioning his boss.
Oops, sorry.
Should I go on?
Yeah.
And so his last name is Koenig, so it's Keith Koenig, and he's posted a couple of times already since he announced himself as a new producer. We don't know yet where Ben Irving's going, but he says it's a exciting new opportunity within BioWare. So I kind of hope to see what's happening there. I hope we get an update at some point. But yeah, so we have a new producer, and he seems very excited. So I like the energy.
He does seem excited in his post here. We'll do our work to crush that optimism and excitement out of him in no time.
He says he's going to come out with a roadmap for 2017 in the next few weeks, so that should be interesting too. We'll look for that.
Looking forward to that. We won't get into all of the... but we will do a quick run through the known issues for 5.2. One thing that got some extra discussion in the dev tracker was that there will be new crafting details coming out in the next few weeks, probably with update 5.3, so you'll be able to craft the 246 gear. What some people realized is if you take 246 items and pull the mods and disassemble them and get the schematic, the unassembled or the assembly components that you need to use to create those items are not in the game yet. So I don't know if this is going to... I don't know if this is sort of giving us a glimpse into the fact that there will be either only new assembly components that'll be created or some new materials that'll have to be used as well, and sort of like a new tier of crafting that we're going to have to check out. So
I mean,
I thought that was interesting.
I would be surprised if there's a new tier of normal crafting materials, but you know what?
Yeah, not
I've been
normal because
surprised
it's
before.
still... It even says grade 10, but they're called something weird and new. The assembly
Right.
components.
The assembly components, if they require a blue item though, or something that drops in a weird place, that would be weird also.
Yeah. So they're called like infused polished plasteel armor assembly components or something like that. Which yeah. So that could be a whole new little thing to keep an eye out for.
It means you put them in a bottle of vodka and hold on to them for a few days.
To get them infused? Is that what you infuse things with vodka?
They infuse the vodka, then you have the vodka is infused then. So yeah, I have it backwards.
So vodka. Plasteel infused vodka for your Corellian martinis.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
They
In
go
Guild and
well
Community
with.
news, we do have a guild, and there's plenty of people out there in the community. Go check them out. I noticed just for our Twitch stream here that Kid Lee was looks like he's auto hosting us. That was very nice of him.
Oh,
Definitely
thank
go
you,
check
Kid
out
Lee.
Kid Lee. And I think one other person was also. You can scroll up in our, yeah, Anog is as well. That was nice. But
Thanks,
yeah, Kid Lee
guys.
does a lot of great content. Definitely go check out Kid Lee from time to time, as well as the rest of the influencer crew. We catch up with those guys pretty often. It's a lot of really great people in that influencer podcasting streaming community these days. I really like it. What do we got for Conquest this week, Seema?
This week we're invading Belsavis on the pub side and Hoth on the imp side. There's a lot of repeatable stuff in this week's conquest. You can do Scum and Villainy, Dread Fortress, Dread Palace, Terror from Beyond in any difficulty, Group Finder flashpoints and operations. There's the Oricon weekly. There's the Uprisings weekly. You can do the Section X weekly, and of course, as always, War Zones and GSF. So lots of stuff to go out and do.
Sweet. I noticed the overall points so far today are low for all of the guilds on Hoth, where we're invaded on the Imperial side. Probably because everybody is messing around with the story and not focused on doing a bunch of conquest objectives. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, like me personally, for everything I've done today, and you heard what we did in MFN. I have 2,000 conquest points only so far. So
Yeah.
what we were doing didn't match up with conquest at all, but we'll get there.
Right, because what we were doing in our mandatory fun night was a little bit of Toth, a little bit of Taboros Courtyard, a little bit of Colossal Monolith, a little bit of Worldbreaker
Oh, that's right.
Monolith,
I forgot we did the Zio stuff too. Yeah.
and Dreadtooth, and we killed Dreadtooth too. So we did quite a few things in our mandatory fun night, which is our Tuesday guild event that we have every Tuesday. If you would like to come join our Tuesday guild event, you could probably come join our guild event if we've got space for you, even without joining the guild. But if you'd like to join the guild, that can be arranged. Our guild info for our overall guild is aie-guild.org, and you can catch any of the officers in game in Star Wars with a /cjoin AIE LFO on Jedi Covenant. On either side, we've got a guild that spans both sides. So check it out. Check out the guild website. Join up. You can find Discord information once you sort of dig around in there a little bit and fill out an app. And you can ask for us in Discord or on Twitter and those kinds of things too. We'll get you connected. We'd love to get you in the guild if this sounds good to you.
Yes.
And as always, thank you to the chat room already helping out here as we were discussing the details of Dyson spheres and debating that leading into the podcast and helping me get my numbers straight on this expansion 5.2, not 5.3. So thanks. I will chat with all of you after as well. Great to see you guys in there. So that leads us to some information that we can go over for the Iokath Expanse and 5.2.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Well, if Bothans died here, they would be Robo-Bothans, because everything
Yes.
here is Robo. So, Iokath Expanse, I don't know if that's what they're calling this little mini expansion. I don't think that's what they're calling it. I think that's just what ended up on the map. But
Yeah.
I like saying that over and over, so
Yes.
as you can tell. We're just going to give our first impressions. We're going to talk about our first impressions, just our general impressions of the story. Neither of us have even finished it, as Seema said. We're going to talk about our general first impressions of the planet and some of the things we're seeing around the planet and the zone and what it looks like and some of the fun we're having with that. Not too much on the dailies yet, but that's a thing that we'll be getting to before long as well. our first impressions of the operation and getting in there and playing with Tithe. That we will talk about in detail because it's been out there and everybody's seen it already. And then just general other impressions of 5.2 outside of Iokath and some of the known issues and any other things that come to mind. So let's kick it off by talking about the story. Now, you said you did not get through the whole story, right, Seema?
No, I didn't. But I did. That is the first thing I did. I logged in, and then I punched the purple button because it was right. I mean, it's not purple. It's gold. It's a gold button with launch in blue letters, but the name of the quest is purple. And yeah, so I could not resist that. So I punched that, and I played for that for a while. At first, I was a little bit put off by the fact that I got Theron Shan as a companion for me in the story, and I had never leveled his influence. And I was still in my healing spec, and so we were kind of running around, and he was like giving things paper cuts, and I was trying to kill things and keep him alive. And I kept seeing more and more mobs, and I had a flashback to earlier chapters in Coffee where it was these corridors and the Sky Troopers, and then another corridor, more Sky Troopers. So I was worried that it was going to be like that. But it wasn't, because I could switch out my companion if I wanted to, which surprised me. I almost didn't try it. And
Yeah.
B, almost right away after I had that thought about, just too many waves of trash, it died right down and it got into some more interesting stuff. So I had a little bit rocky moment there, but then I got into it. And in a way, that's why I stopped playing the story, because I wanted to come back and do it when I could pay attention to it. And I was starting to, get ready for MFN and fix dinner and all this other stuff. So I want to do it when I have a little bit more focused attention for it.
Yeah, I agree. I started the story, but didn't get very far because I didn't start it until after work until later as well. And I'm playing the story really slow. In fact, I'm like taking some notes as I go about things that I notice, things that I think are cool.
That's so smart. Why didn't I do that?
Little comments that I'm hearing Theron say.
He is funny.
People that are showing up, and I did right away talk to or switch out my companion, like, because you had mentioned it in chat earlier, and I did try it, and you can switch it out right away. Theron still shows up in the chat in the cutscenes, it seems, so they don't make you like they do in some of the other chapters, where you like go to turn something in, and they say you must have Theron Shan with you to do this.
Right.
So I thought that was useful. So you can get a good companion and start plowing through stuff, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I thought that was a clean way of handling it. I mean, I could see people feeling that it's not immersive, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I also didn't get very far because now we all know you have to pick between Imperial and Republic as part of the story. That was identified early in the dev stream and in the notes leading up to that. Well, I got up to that point, which happens relatively early, and I froze like a deer in headlights. You get a little bit of dialogue, you get a little bit of discussion on the point, and then then you have to choose Republic or Imperial. And I still, even to this point, I don't know what I'm going to choose. I thought I was clear. I thought I knew what I was going to choose, but then, just a couple points of the dialogue and me thinking more about it, I am really split on what I want to do, and this is on my mercenary.
I agree.
I thought I was totally going to go Republic, and now I think I might not. So
at the point where they ask you to make that decision is really early on. I was expecting, or it does make it hard to make the decision. It's just not a lot to go on.
It does. So spoilers for old story. We know Asina helped us out in a pretty serious way. And we talked about this in the last couple of weeks. Seema did, she stepped up, and then I was thinking about it, and she's there, and she's asking you to team up with her here. She came personally and helped, and like fought by my side in those Kotet chapters,
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty serious business, you know? And you were not feeling the love at all in Knights of the Eternal Throne from the Republic.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. So there's story.
So it may be a while before you go much farther.
I'm never going to do it.
I
I'm,
can't decide.
I still have the Jaxo mission in my Vanguard's quest log.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler.
Speaking of nostalgia.
I don't think you can do it anymore, but there was a point where you could continue in your class story, and then they did a reset, and that Jaxo mission popped back up again, and I never completed it or got rid of it. So I can always go back and see Jaxo and say hi.
Say hi. That's like Netflix and chill.
Say hi, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
No more. Yeah. So story-wise, it's still looking interesting. The whole place is looking interesting. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see if Scorpio is going to show up, or we're going to hear from Scorpio at all. I know. And then I've been staying away from general chat, and I would recommend everyone does, because people are discussing everything. They're spoiling everything. So I even saw some of it and I didn't know what they were talking about, so I just closed it and haven't been looking at it. But in general, I think people are liking it. So I'd be interested to hear feedback from chat rooms, or see what you guys say. I saw at least a couple of people saying, "Yeah, I like the story." We'll see what it's like, and next week we'll give our final verdict whether we like it or not. But I don't think there's all that much more to say on story just yet.
Speaking of other tips, that turning off general is one, but also check your abilities, because some abilities got untrained and you may want to just grab them again.
Mm-hmm. Responsive safeguards on the mercenaries did get untrained if you had responsive safeguards. Also, if you're not, you should be able to travel to Iokath. If you've gotten at least this intro quest to pop up in your quest log, then it should show up in this outer reaches area of the new galactic map, and then you could fly to Iokath even if you haven't been there yet, or if you haven't done the story. It seems like if you completed Knights of the Eternal Throne chapters, then it was just in my quest log. Was that the same way for you, Seema?
Yeah.
It just showed up. And the button was just there, and it said play.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go to my ship and click on that little console or anything. It was just there. So there's that too. But yeah, if it's not showing up for you yet, if you don't have it yet, then you can probably go to your ship and click on that console, and it'll pop up.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
So what do you think of this Dyson sphere we call the Iokath Expanse?
Well, I like the size of it. I haven't explored it
It's not the size that
completely
matters,
yet.
Seema.
What?
It's not the size that
my
matters.
God. I like the size of it because it's not tiny like Manon, but
Yeah.
it's a full-on area like Yavin 4, and or Black Hole, or something like that. Section X. I haven't done the dailies yet. There's a number of resource nodes, which I mentioned before, and there's a number of droids around too. So if you go there to scavenge or to look for materials, you might find yourself fighting through some droids as well, which is fine. So my initial impressions are positive. It looks like a nice, good size. I can imagine good dailies. I'm looking forward to checking them out.
Yeah, I like it. I like the art. I like the geography. I like the trash and droids and stuff around don't seem they don't seem too annoying or too interesting, but not it would be worse if they were annoying. Couple things that we do get with 5.2 is that anything you kill, interestingly enough, has the opportunity to give you command points. So every mob you kill anywhere will have a minimum of 1 command point, it seems. So that's a fun little bonus to see popping up there, even if it's just 1 point. I don't know, for some reason that seems interesting to me.
It's a little
Um,
gratifying. You kill things and the little points messages
it's
scroll on
points.
by.
It's 1 more. So yeah. But then
I have another
also,
point.
as you're killing any of the trash, you're starting to get the new currency that you're going to want off of the planet as well. So any trash you kill anywhere outside or inside of the dailies has the opportunity to be dropping these Iokath power shards. So dropping these Iokath power shards, that's the currency that what are we going to buy with it? So I know it's a currency. Oh,
I
I
don't.
think so there's consoles around especially in that more open world area. There's consoles that you can go up to then and get yourself a walker for the day that you can use to be shooting things and doing dailies with it and that kind of thing. So this currency is going to be used on Iokath for some of that stuff.
I wonder if you can scavenge and stuff while you're in the walker. Like
That's a
maybe you
good
can
question.
just bruiser your way through the droids and just pick flowers.
Yeah, that would be tough if you couldn't, and I would bet that you can't. But we'll see.
Yeah.
As you said, Seema, I did like to see that there was grade 10 gathering nodes all over the place. And it looked to
Yeah.
me like only grade 10, not like grade 9 and grade 10 like you see on Zakul or on Darvanis. Is it Darvanis?
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'm glad to have a place where you can go and get grade 10 if you just want grade 10, because I'm getting piles and piles of grade 9, which is interesting.
Grade 9 useful for conquest and grade 10 is not useful for conquest. So
Yeah.
there's that.
So there's that. But I liked that. One thing I noticed as I was going around and gathering, all I have on my mercenary is all I've gathered with so far is slicing. So I picked up a bunch of the slicing nodes. And as I was picking up slicing nodes, I noticed for whatever reason that I opened some of those lockboxes, and these must have come out of the lockboxes or went off of hitting the gathering node, is grade 10 missions. So grade 10 wealthy missions are now dropping, which I have not seen in the game to this point. Maybe
No.
I just missed them and they were in some of the crates. I don't think so. Yeah, so I think they just added them back in for 5.2.
Well, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to start looking for those now.
So treasure hunting. So there's I got 2 580 grade 10 treasure hunting. And then also dropping from those mobs that you would kill, Drano. Is that how you say that, Drano? One of our guildies here just mentioned in chat. You're also getting the rep tokens. So I haven't even clicked
Right.
on my rep tokens, but you're getting stacks of the rep tokens that are just dropping randomly from mobs. And those will drop in the story. They'll drop from trash as well, just outside on the planet. Me just messing around. I was on a conference call, and so I was not. That's before I did the story. So for like a half hour, I was just wandering the planet and killing trash. I ended up with, I've got 7 blues and 17 greens of these marks of loyalty rep tokens sitting here in my inventory. I've been hearing a lot of people say that they've gotten plenty of rep tokens, enough to at least hit the weekly cap already in the first couple hours of playing today. So I would expect it's not going to be hard at all to get enough rep to at least be hitting your weekly cap each week.
I have not gotten any, but all I did was roam around and play a little story.
Huh. Yeah, then maybe less in the story than just out and about. Because I got tons. If this did also raise a discussion in guild chat, which I had forgotten about, which is rep does cap at the last rep token you can turn in has to be below 12,000 rep for the week.
Right.
So At 11,999 rep, you can still turn in one more rep token. So if you're trying to get to, see, I don't know if there's any reason to get to heroic sooner. Like if there's something you can buy or something that happens at that rep level. But getting to I'm going to newoverlords.com. I have the champion level. That's what it is. It's heroic, champion, and legend. There's one of the levels that you can get to a week sooner if you turn in the right number of tokens. So you're getting as close as to 12,000 as possible, and then turning in a purple token to get as far over the cap as possible. You can hit one of the levels 1 week sooner. I think it's heroic. So that was interesting back in the day when we were trying to get like some of the cool stuff from the rat ghouls. Hitting it 1 week sooner was fun because then you could get some of that stuff sooner. So I don't know if there's a reason to do it now. I was calling that super cap. So getting as close to 12,000 as possible, but not over, and then using one of the highest value rep tokens that you have, either blue or purple, to exceed. You can go look on my rep calculator on newoverlords.com. You click on resources and you'll see it there. You can put in how many rep tokens you have and what it's going to take you to get to the next level. And then I have another page which shows you what rep tokens you want to be turning in depending on how much rep you currently have and what that's going to get you to get to that 11,970, which is the highest you can get before you turn in a purple token without a guild bonus, or if you have the 10% guild bonus, then it's 11,979 for the week. So you can look that up too. I think Delphi has one too, but either one, whatever sounds good. Enough of that. Anything else about the planet that stood out to you, Seema? I noticed there was a lot of these little elevators and teleporters to be bouncing around various places in the map. I don't know if you noticed that as you were just wandering around.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were really getting into the open world PvP, that those might come in really handy and be interesting.
I wonder if they'll work when you're in combat, though.
No, I wasn't thinking as much while you're in combat as, say you're in combat, you fight a bunch of people, and you kill them. And then somebody else says, oh, now there's a group of people over here. So then you could be using those teleporters and they basically take you from one side of the map to the other. So it's not like they're taking you very far in most of the cases. I wonder if that's the intent. Otherwise, I don't really see much use for those.
Plus, you can be, someone can say, let's attack that guy over there, he's by himself, and then 2 seconds later his whole team shows up from an elevator.
It's a trap. That's a great idea.
The trap. I do notice that when you kind of look over the side, looking down, it's kind of interesting. It feels like you kind of see the end of the world down there, kind of. And they do let you jump off in true Star Wars fashion.
Have you gotten anywhere interesting yet?
Oh no,
jumping
you just
off?
Die.
Yeah, I got
die,
to some.
yeah.
Seema has been defeated. It showed up on my map. Yeah, I was on the precipice a couple times. I hadn't jumped off many places yet. I was saving that, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's weird edges of the map where there's not much out there, but you can go sort of to the extreme edges and check stuff out. Again, relatively big place, relatively big map. I do like the monorail vacuum tubes as the transport mechanism and that kind of thing.
I'm roaming around here as we're talking too, and it's a pretty big place.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that likes to roam around. I'm a wanderer, you might say. I roam around. Yeah, look, there's a little. I'm walking through the mobs now, but these little nodes all over the place. These little water canals. Oh, no, they're gonna kill me. And I'm trying to get here to the edge of the map so I can jump off. So all of these, yeah, I'd like to confirm, but I think all of these nodes are grade 10. So yeah, if anyone gets to some really interesting areas of the map, let us know, because I'd like to find that out. Cool. Dailies. I have not gotten to the dailies. I also wonder if some of these transports are going to be useful for getting back and forth around the dailies. That may be part of it as well. I think we're gonna have to postpone that till next week until both you and I get into the dailies more. Have you seen anything in the story so far that seemed like it would be the kind of thing that would turn into a daily?
Every time in the story that I walk into an area where, where you walk out of an instance area into a common area, I think that, oh, they're gonna have dailies here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but
that's what I was sort of keeping an eye out for in the story. So that's probably going to be the case. But then also you're going to have to figure out if you feel like using any of these, the mouse droid control terminal or Assault Walker access terminal or mounted turret manufacturing terminals. To if that's going to help do dailies or if that's really only for more for the PvP stuff. That should be interesting to see. And then of course we've got the new operation. So Tithe. Now we did go and took a 16-man group from our guild tonight and went and chased down the new operation entrance. I could not get to the new operation entrance though. We did get everyone summoned there. A couple people that had completed the story did have the quick travel point by the operation entrance. Until you've got that, until you've gotten to that through the story, I don't think you can get there though. On your map, you can't get to the quick travel point, and you can't get through without completing that part of the story.
right.
Unless
That's what it seemed like anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we got some in there. We took 16 people in and had a good time with the new operation and the first boss, Tithe.
Yeah.
So what was your impression of that? I know you had done it before, but
Well, part of our feedback when we did on the PTS was that for story mode, it seemed like it was tuned a little too high, and it seems like they evened that out, and it was, I thought, pretty appropriate story mode level of difficulty.
yeah, in fact, I wouldn't even say too easy because we knew how to do it.
Right.
But it was not bad.
Which is an advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. So having people be able to get in there and do it, that will definitely be able to happen in story mode with pickup groups and with guild groups. We had an accidental early pull and still got him down to like 24% before we had even finished explaining the fight to people. And then we killed him the second time through with, I think, only 2 people out of 16 dying. So a little bit of a fun mechanic, as everyone's probably seen in the videos for how he works. I like the idea of the rage and managing those rage stacks. The mechanic of something to manage rather than just staying out of trash or
Right.
having a tank swap, because you can manage that in a number of different ways, and you can come up with different strategies to manage those stacks. You could do it with timing. You can do it with one of the extra mobs that helps some of those stacks comes down, and you can do it with coordination of when you're killing the ads or when you're letting him kill ads and that kind of thing. So it was pretty cool. I I like that. I we and you're absolutely right. When we did it, and we didn't do it late in the PTS, but when we did it early in the PTS, it was quite a bit harder even for story mode.
Right. Yes. When we did it was very early in the PTS.
The trash even leading up to him outside the boss encounter was quite a bit harder as well, and that seems like it's been tuned back as well. So yeah, I like that fight. So I'm looking here on the Assault Walker access terminal on the planet, and you need 600 of the Iokath power shards and 20,000 credits, and then you can pilot an Assault Walker.
Huh.
I do not have 600 shards yet. Although wait, I have a power crystal cluster. How many? Oh, there's only 5 in each of these power crystal clusters. So what do I have? I only have 123.
Wow, that's weird. I have exactly 123 also.
Really? That's impossible.
We're twins.
I would ask you what how often that might happen, but you should never tell me the odds.
That was smooth, Max.
Smooth. I stuttered a little bit to try to phrase that without saying odds and lead up. That's why that happened like that. What about elsewise besides Iokath in 5.3? So I see we've got some known issues here. Anything stand out into you in there? Do you want to read?
You said
sort of read through
5.3 again.
Did I? Say 5.2.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I couldn't listen. I couldn't hear anything you said after you said 5.3.
Because it's so wrong. Why are you so wrong? Stop putting your wrongness in my face.
You're wronging it all up.
So I'll breeze through the known issue list that we saw pop up in the dev tracker, and you can tell me if anything sounds interesting as a known issue. Nothing really stands out to me. They got like 10 things in here. Daily missions on Iokath aren't affected by the planetary mission highlight bonus. Whatever. It sounds fine. So you won't get a little bit of the bonus out of Galactic Command interface. Yet, if you change your appearance on Iokath, it doesn't update in the Iokath cutscenes until you leave the planet and return. Okay. If you try to engage in an activity with a member of the opposite base faction, which is normally not allowed, you may receive a non-specific error message. Probably like, I'd be interested to see what those non-specific error messages are.
Yeah, I mean, this one kind of stood out to me because it isn't the kind of error that they usually say anything about. It's completely cosmetic, right? The error message is not informative.
Right. And there's non-specific error message all over the game still right now.
So I mean, I don't know what I think about that. I was going to make some irresponsible prediction about Keith's influence, but I guess I won't. Like it's the new transparency. It's starting already.
They're being very specific. While you're in a guild vehicle, such as a walker, if you switch between instances, like from PvP to PvE, you will lose that form. And I wonder if you exit that, if you lose your 600, if you're done, or if there's a way to put it back on before for the day. I wonder what happens. Yeah, I bet if you pay for it, you turn into a walker, and that's it until you're done being a walker, and then you lose those 620,000 credits or whatever. Main story missions on Iokath are rewarding less command XP than intended. So yes, that's known. A couple of people in Guild noticed that earlier today. Some abilities for the Iokath forms, such as the missile turret, are missing tooltip descriptions. Okay. If you group Q from Iokath via Group Finder into an Operation Flash Support or Uprising, hitting Return to Med Center may remove you from the group and return you to Iokath. Okay.
I wonder if you get like a deserter debuff too on top of that. That would be harsh.
Activating an Iokath form, such as a walker, while you have a temporary ability bar active will cause your temporary abilities to cease working and you may receive a non-specific error message. There's those non-specific error messages. And finally, the Jundland Dewback has no icon in the unclaimed items section of the cartel market. Okay. Apparently that, for some reason, broke as part of the 5.2 update as well. What else in the 5.2 stuff, Seema? I know one big thing we should talk about.
What's that?
The galaxy map.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so what do you think of the galaxy map?
Well, I don't like change.
Fair change,
so
moving my cheese.
yes, they moved my cheese, my galaxy map cheese. But I think this is a good change. I like a lot of different things about it. I like that you can call it up from anywhere. I mean, I kind of wish, but I may change my mind on this, that when you actually went to your ship and clicked on the galaxy map there, that you would get the old galaxy map, but that's a nostalgia thing too.
Yeah.
I like that you can, like when we finished with Taboros Courtyard, for instance, tonight, everyone could click on their galaxy map and go to Section X on Belsavis. That's kind of awesome that the whole team could just do that.
Exactly. Yeah, someone suggested that it does, I think Arv was saying, he feels like it diminishes the guild ship quick travel, the guild ship travel abilities, which maybe it does a little bit, but you still get one more level of granularity with the guild ship travel, which is to go to a particular quick travel point on a planet and take your whole guild there. But otherwise, yeah. I'm liking it. I'm liking the ability to travel. I'm liking the ability to pull it up from anywhere. I
like that you can zoom in and zoom out, and then you can move it around on your screen. It's sort of like it's updated it to modern times, so it's a good thing.
I don't like that it doesn't spin. Not a lot of people even knew. This was sort of like a secret tip. The old galaxy map, when you were in a zoomed out view, if you clicked and dragged, you could spin the whole galaxy map, and it was this cool 3D effect. So you can't spin it anymore, but that's okay. We can zoom in and out and get a little bit of a 3D effect off of that. So I also thought that it was pretty interesting. You can also see where you've got missions a little more easily. Mm-hmm. You can see where other people in your group are a little more easily. I thought it was interesting that you can jump right into space missions.
Oh, and I like that if you're tracking a mission on a planet, then that planet has the mission marker on the galaxy map.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy to figure out where you're going.
And
in the galaxy.
And then remember down here, you've got the ability to do your personal transport, do your priority transport to your personal starship. It's got its own little button down here. And yeah, someone in the chat room just mentioned, Zen just mentioned, you got a quick click to get to the world map as part of this as well, which I didn't even notice. So cool stuff. So that's certainly one bigger one. We also know that there was quite a few other types of changes, like the gear, like Tier 4 being added in, which we haven't experienced too much yet. Although someone was saying blue set pieces in Tier 4 now. I've got a bunch of stuff that I have not claimed out of Tier 3, but here I'll open a Tier 4 crate and see if I see anything interesting. Having set pieces, blue set pieces, no, that's not a set piece. Yeah, do another one. That did sound interesting to me. I'm only getting...
It is kind of weird that you can go directly to your ship from the galaxy map, because the galaxy map, I mean, why would you ever... What would you be going to your ship for?
Yeah.
I mean, says the woman who has a conversation still.
It's a travel.
From
I mean,
Treek.
It's just one more place that you can travel. So it's a personal transport, I guess. So they figured they'd put it in there as well. If you ever need to go there, want to go there. Oh, and the chat room says maybe for a mission objective, yeah. So yeah, here with 5.2, I opened one of these tier 4 crates and I got 244 blue quality gear with set bonus. Huh. So that's interesting. So it's not purple, but it's blue, but it does have the set bonus, which then I think, so this must be what they were talking about in terms of their solution to make sure that you were able to get set bonuses quite a bit easier. Well, that's good to know. So as often as you were getting blue gear in the past, I bet you'll be getting blue gear as often that often out of these crates, but it will have set bonuses all over it.
Cool.
Cool. Otherwise, this looks pretty similar. Got a bunch of command tokens. Also remember that the command boosts that you can buy, the command XP boosts that you can buy off the fleet for command tokens now work across all tiers, including up to up to 300 and sticking on 300 for tier 4. Remember, when you get to 300, you stay there, but then each time you fill the bar, you get another crate. And that's tier 4 crates that are coming at 300. There are 2 boosts that you can buy. One is a 25% boost and one is a 100% boost. Those 2 boosts, they changed the pricing on it just a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. Instead of like the 100% boost was 200 the 200 command tokens out of your legacy command token currency. And now, after 5.2 drops, it's 190 command tokens and something like 20,000 credits. So
I don't get that either.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Because they didn't reduce the amount of command tokens you need in a substantive way, but then they added the
I wonder if that
credits cost.
I wonder if that got around some sort of either exploit or made it more difficult for spammers or something like that. I don't know. Maybe there was some little twist.
Maybe something that's just not obvious to us. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm soaking it up. I'm interested to open the rest of my packs, start getting new gear levels, and I'm still feeling like I'm getting plenty of command XP points. That was another thing that they clarified for 5.2 was that it would still feel like you're getting as much as it was sort of like during the bonus, which I do feel that way. So I'm having fun.
Where are you in terms of CXP levels now? Is it still 300 or is it moving forward now?
No, so it sticks at 300 and then it stays at 300, and so the last 18 crates, tier 4 crates that I got still stick me at 300.
Okay. I'm getting there.
Right.
I'm at 216.
Excellent. Close.
Yeah.
And remember, as you progress through the tier, as you get closer and closer to 300, you'll have a greater chance now that 5.2 has dropped for getting set pieces.
Yes.
As you get towards the end of the tier. So there's that too. All right. I think with that
going for me.
We sort of at least exhausted our first impressions. I think we'll have more as we talk next week about where we're at and what we felt like in sort of the wrap up of the story and what dailies are starting to look like. So we'll see what that sounds like then. And next week we may also talk a little bit about Star Wars Celebration, which happened last week. We had one of our awesome guildies, Zen, was down there live blogging, so maybe we'll hear more from Zen. We'll see.
Yes.
But with that, our EPC 190 droid's ready to head out, Sasa.
Remember the cant.
So thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, on iTunes, on YouTube, or live on Twitch. We will stream again next Tuesday night on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. please follow us on Twitter at Max the Gray and at AIESEMA. And come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.